Saturday morning cartoons. Oh, that's awesome. Knots. So Awesomenauts is a multiplayer online battle arena. What you do is you basically unlock different characters and then you try and destroy the other team's turrets so you can make your way into their base and destroy their base. So to do this, you have a lot of different characters to choose from, and no two characters are really alike. They all play pretty differently. So it's not like the different characters you unlock are clones of each other, which is nice. And the powers are usually pretty flashy and cool, and a lot of them are funny also. And when you kill other players, you net something called Solar, which is used to buy your character upgrades and new powers from the store that's inside your base. So you have two types of levels in the game. You have one type of level that's during the match, and that goes away at the match's end. And what it is it's sort of this arbitrary number that just kind of tells you how many powers you've unlocked and how much solar you've gotten yourself. And it's really just there, I guess, to gauge your performance in that match and see how well you're doing. The other level is a more persistent level, and that's used to get yourself some character unlocks and unlock new powers for your characters. You'll see in the beginning when you customize your loadout, a lot of the powers are locked from the start, and you have to unlock those by gaining experience at the end of the matches. So I think gameplay-wise, you're going to see that this game does not have as much strategy as a MOBA like League of Legends, if you've heard of that, or if you're a hardcore player of something like League of Legends, you're probably going to be a little underwhelmed here because this is a little more basic, and there's not as much teamwork or strategy required. But for people like me, who are more casual MOBA players who don't really have the time investment to put into something like League of Legends, or who might be intimidated by a game like that, there's a lot to love here. It's a lot simpler, and the community here is a lot more welcoming, I find. I think people are playing this more really to have a good time. There isn't as much strategy involved. There's some involved. You have to kind of coordinate your attacks, but the premise is pretty simple, and the map's layouts are pretty simple. But some of the basic elements of MOBAs are still here. You know, there's still the creep and all that kind of stuff for those of you familiar with those types of games. So they're there in a sense, but it's definitely not as in-depth as some of the free-to-play MOBA games. So I do love the graphics. I love the cartoon style. I think there's a lot of humor in the game, and it really works well. I still get a chuckle every time I hear the brain character, the healer, mumbling to himself in his sort of German accent. And there's a lot of like 90s pop culture references, like Rocky G. I heard him say, "Yo home, smell you later." So there's a lot of stuff to like here, and there's a lot of subtle things, especially in the music in the game. I love the music, and the music is actually really funny. For those of you that speak any French, you'll probably get a kick out of, I think it's the Lizards theme song. It's pretty ridiculous if you actually understand what they're saying. But yeah, so I think overall this is a game I would definitely recommend for people who aren't looking for something as hardcore and detailed and in-depth as something like League of Legends, who might be intimidated by a game like that, but who like the idea of the MOBA game, the multiplayer battle arena type games. And the game is cheap enough. It's only $9.99. I myself bought a 3-pack for me and 2 other friends, and I've already sunk 8 hours into this, and I'm having a great time. If you have friends to play with, this is definitely a great game to pick up. It is 3-on-3. It's not 4-on-4, which a lot of games seem to go to that standard of 4-on-4, but this game is only 3-on-3, so that might be a concern for some people. If you have a lot of friends you want to play with at once, then this might not be for you. But if you have like 2 other friends that you want to grab and get into a match with, or if you just want to jump into public matches, it's been a really good time, and I have found the community is pretty welcoming. I guess what the real determining factor is going to be is if the community latches onto this and you find people actively playing it in the months to come. So that sort of remains to be seen. I know that the console version, people have been kind of saying they need an update, and they've been waiting on that. But what people should also remember is that since this is on Steam and this isn't on a console, it's much easier to get updates through on a PC game. The consoles have a pretty long process of getting approved for updates. And that's why you don't see Xbox Live games and PlayStation games and stuff getting updated that frequently. And the consoles, the companies Microsoft and Sony, actually will charge often for updates. So it's not free for the company to put those updates out. So on the PC, none of that stuff exists. There's no real, there's no real like approval process or anything like that. They just kind of can update the games as they need to. So we might see some updates coming out more frequently. It does remain to be seen, but I have hope that they'll update this game with maybe a couple more maps. The game does only ship with 3 maps, but I haven't really found myself bored yet by seeing the same maps over and over again. But I think it will take some time to get through all the character unlocks, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to dropping some more hours into this game. I find it's really fun, so I think for $9.99 there's really not a big risk. I think unless you're some really hardcore League of Legends player who might be disappointed by this, I think you should definitely pick this one up. I really recommend it. It's just an overall good time, and it definitely it's definitely a quality product. There's a lot of polish in it, and this is. I hope we see some more games like this where they invest a lot more time, not in just the gameplay, but in the subtle humor and the presentation and everything, because I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you liked the video. If not, tell me in the comments. If you do like it, tell me in the comments. And I will be reviewing some more stuff shortly.